What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends? This is Coach E on behalf of Perfect Time Fitness and Meal Prep. We are accepting new clients on both sides. Now, on that personal training side, we are located at Fit Circuit. That is 22141 Rockside Road, Bedford Heights, Ohio, 44146. Now, we do offer one-on-one personal training, group training, one-on-one boxing cardio class. That is noon every Saturday, sports-specific training, and weight loss. On that meal side, we do offer personalized meal prep, catering, charcuterie boards, fresh fruit and vegetable juicing. Now, for us to get in touch with you and for you to get in touch with us, reach out to us on www.perfecttimefitness.com and sign up for those things previously mentioned. We are waiting to hear from you and can't wait to hear from you. Thanks for reaching out in advance. Peace.
Break.
Welcome back, world, to another episode of Coach E Game for All Seasons, brought to you by Drip Water, alkaline drip water, that is, and partnership with Perfect Time Fitness. With your boy, Coach E, local neighborhood high school football coach, local neighborhood high school basketball coach, local neighborhood high school track coach. Also, most importantly, co-CEO El Presidente at Perfect Time Fitness and Meal Prep, head trainer at Perfect Time Fitness by way of Fit Circuit. www.perfecttimefitness.com, and where you need to go. My wife, matter of fact, shout out, forget the website. We're going to get back to that later. Today is October 23rd. It is her 43rd birthday. Shout out to the Wizzy wife. 43rd birthday. Hey, I got me an old
trying to get killed,
ain't
he?
My
Man trying to get killed. We don't hear from you tomorrow. We know what happened. You out here spreading our eggs, telling everybody the business. Oh, man.
It's all right. We're proud. We are proud. A lot of people don't make it to 43. So why not celebrate and be jubilant for 43? Amen?
Okay.
Looks like I got a man in the building. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my...
You do it. Hold up. You doing good by recording this podcast on her birthday. So you survived one miracle.
Yeah, man.
Number two, look, hey man.
I'll take
you survive this one.
I'll take full blame for that. Yeah, I'll take full blame for that. Happy birthday, Sharon. Thank you for working with my schedule to let E do this. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I appreciate you stepping up, please.
Oh, yeah, you know.
But happy birthday to my twin, my best friend, my road dog, my joking partner, my living partner, my ace, my root, my heart, Sharon Curry. Happy birthday, baby. Love you. Now we got all that good stuff out the way. You need to go to YouTube and watch all this goodness that we're putting out there. We got a lot of good episodes that we are stacking and stacking and stacking. So go ahead, withdraw from the stacking that we are depositing to you. And download wherever you get your podcast from, whether it be Spotify, whether it be iHeartRadio, whether it be Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, you know, the whole works. Go ahead, download this good old goodness and take it with you on the go so you can listen to it. But download it first. Now that we got all that good stuff out of the way, I got two assistant coaches with me on the left and my right-hand side that do this thing with me. On the left-hand side, I'm confused right now because it's Texas Rangers in. That is so far random, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce them as Texas Rangers in because they got the blue on. I don't want to call them a Crip. Texas Rangers in. What's good?
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's a free for all right now. It's a free for all. My Guardians, they lost to them doggone Yankees again. Oh, when will we ever beat them?
So you a
So
free agent now?
I just had to feel some winning. The Rangers won not too long ago, so I just need to feel some winning again. Them Browns ain't winning. I'm like, man, I just needed to feel some winning. Feel like a winner again. Feel like myself. So I had to throw on the Texas Rangers hat today. But what's good, fellas?
It is the Guardians because we gave it our damnedest with that payroll we got and the people we had. They played their little hearts out, man. The Big Apple got a 300 million plus payroll. Ain't nothing the people with the Guardians can do with anything with that. But I appreciate you, Zen. On the right hand side, I got I don't even know who he is today. So let's just talk to him and see who he is today. It's BC Bizzle. What up, Bizzle BC?
What up? Well, what's that? Hold on. This my ringtone?
Somebody died?
Yeah, we playing that for our fallen comrade Watson, man. Watson,
Damn.
Baker Super Bowl chances and everything. It was a bad weekend. It was a bad weekend. So look, man. First off, man, before I tell you people who I am, full disclosure. Stop calling my damn phone. Stop texting me talking about I got what I wanted. I never ever want to see an athlete hurt. I don't even care if it's on the opposite team. I felt bad when Ben Roethlisberger got hurt. I hate the Steelers. Yes, I criticized Deshaun Watson's play. I stick to it. I didn't like the product on the field, but the man, it hurt my heart when he was crying leaving the field. We must stop that. Shame to the fans. The Steelers outclassed us when Chubb got hurt. We can't do that to our players. We can't tempt couch people. But anyway, another thing, man, I jinxed my boy Baker Mayfield, and I had to put my shirt on. Baker, hero, myth, legend, because I ain't even going to get to wear this. I was betting they was going to the Super Bowl. My man lost all his weapons in one game. All of them gone. And one dude broke his leg, and I got a question for you on that, E. But we have to save it for another day. But cause I don't know, do I got time to ask you, Zen?
Well,
the question.
Our guest played football as well too. I know where you're going with it, so he could actually answer.
Where I'm going with
speak to this as well too.
Right. Okay, yeah, freeze. Y'all both football dudes. So the game. The Ravens, the Bucks, the Ravens put a smacking on them boys. They start coming back. The announcers, I swear he jinxed it because he was like, why don't they just wrap it up and go home? But they made an onside kick. They were still fighting. As soon as he said that, my man breaks his whole leg or broke his leg, whatever. They ain't even show the replay. Who was that? Godwin.
Chris Godwin.
Broke his, he got broke. So in that, my question to you football gentlemen, in that situation, you coming back, is it a certain point which y'all have waved the white flag, packed it in, put in the bum crew, or kept fighting with the potential to win?
Go ahead, Freeze. You got that, bro. I'm gonna tune in after you.
So I'm gonna approach this from a different angle. I actually watched that game here where I am now, and the conversation we were having was about the point spread. And so, because we kept wondering why the starters aren't coming off the field, then it was like you knew that something like that, like somebody had the potential of getting hurt. So, obviously, I can't say definitively, but with the NFL having a team in Vegas now, with gambling culture is what it is now. Sometimes you wonder if those things come into play sometimes, because in my opinion, there was absolutely no need for the starters to be on the field that late in the game and what the deficit was at that point. Unless maybe you're trying to cover some kind of spread. I don't know. But that might be too much of a conspiracy theory to throw out there, but something to think about.
Okay. E?
You said you was gonna take it one way, I'm gonna take it the other. You always play to win the game. Maybe I'm just athlete, former player to the death, the gambling stuff, yeah, okay, I understand it might take precedence over things that's going on today, but I choose to ignore a lot of that. You got to play to win the game regardless, man. I don't care what's the situation, what's going on. You keep your people in the game to ensure that you win the game because it was an important game. Every game in the NFL is an important game. So whatever you got to do,
Mhm.
I heard you say the jinx, B, but I don't believe in the jinx stuff, man. If it was gonna happen, it was gonna happen regardless. If it didn't happen that game, it could have happened next game. So you just never could say that somebody jinxed them just because they brought it up. But it's just the way of the
Yeah.
game, man. Everybody in football is going to get hurt 100% of the time.
Yeah.
It just depends on the
Mhm.
severity of the injury, but the timing is gonna happen. So you got to keep your
Yeah, 'cause
dogs in there if you're trying to win the damn game, man.
it was still winnable. I mean, it was up until that point they recovered the onside kick. It was a 10-point game. You know, after it happened, then they was kind of like lost in the sauce. You could tell, but up until that point, it was still time. It was still winnable. I agree with you. Like I would have kept trying to fight to the end, but then that came up, and then it actually happened. The thing that people were scared of, the thing the announcer said, "Let's pack it up, go home before somebody get hurt," and then whoop, somebody got hurt, and not hurt for a couple games. His season is done, and pretty much the chances of my boy going to the Super Bowl because he just lost both his weapons. I don't know the extent of Evans' injury because that looked like that might have been a hammy or something, maybe a few games or something. But yeah, dude broke his leg or his foot, so ankle, wherever it is, he ain't coming back. So I had to go and wear my Baker shirt, man. It's not your boy, but your favorite grown ass man, Mr. Taboo Timmons. I had to ask that question, and now we get to the nitty of the gritty. So what's on tap for the day, fellas?
Oh, I'm jumping in with the nitty gritty right here. I'm getting it started. I ain't even gonna wait for this topic. I'm gonna go ahead and get it off my chest. I don't care if we start a new segment called.
Wait a minute. You have to introduce the game. We've heard
Oh,
them,
I'm
but
sorry.
they don't know.
I'm sorry.
They heard this voice, but nobody know who it actually is, man.
I'm sorry. I was
Daddy
about to go
Pendergrass is
in.
in the house. Daddy Pendergrass.
No, I was about to go smooth in. But we have the privilege, the honor, and the privilege
Oh,
to be joined by, in my opinion, and yes, I am biased, the number one attorney in the whole wide world, not just America, not just the United States, but the world, Craig. The world. The best attorney in the world. My main man, we call him Freeze, but y'all might know him as Christian Wise Smith, Esquire. Esquire Christian Wise Smith. Welcome back to the show, brother. We are so happy to have you, brother.
Man, my brothers.
Yay.
Honored to be back, man. It's always a blessing. You know, y'all have been doing y'all thing now for a long time, man. A dope show, dope content, the positivity, and the people will never see one of the best episodes ever.
Oh,
We weren't able to save it, man. So
oh,
that last one was actually one of the best interviews I've done since I've been doing interviews. And I'm
oh.
mad that we don't got no footage of it, man. It felt like
For real.
y'all remember when we used to always hear stories about the Dream Team, that legendary practice that it was no footage of that ever came out.
Yeah.
That's that interview we did.
That was
That's
it.
that interview. So I'm happy to be back. You know, hopefully we can make magic on this one and get the people something good to hear and see. So I appreciate y'all for having me back. Much love always.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
man, since we just introduced the guest, and that just pissed me off even more that he just said that because that was classic, man. I'm so sad and mad that technology has its times where it just take over and do whatever it want to do, and technology was not on our side that night, man. But I'm still getting stuff off my chest, Zen. I am so pissed off. Byron brought it up, so it's half his fault too. These Cleveland fans, I always talk about these Cleveland fans. My main man, Deshaun, he got hurt, man. He tore his Achilles tendon. It was at least 10,000 people in a 78,000 seat stadium, they was cheering when this man got hurt. I don't care how much you hate a man. I don't care how much he did to you. I don't care what he put on the field. You have to understand what these people and men and women, let's not include the women, the men and women go through as athletes. They put their body, their mind, their lives, their families, everything is on the line every single time they do anything. So for you to sit your high ass in the chair and cheer for this man because his season is over because you wasn't happy with the product that you got as a fan, first of all, you don't have no say so in nothing. You are a paying customer. That's just like you getting mad at a store because they don't have a cereal that you wanted to get in your damn shopping cart, and now you just want to be mad at that damn store. It's the same thing. It's a product that you are paying for, and it's the best product that you was going to get. When them backup quarterbacks came in, you didn't want to see that. You didn't want to see that trash. You was always tuned in for Deshaun to see what he was going to do, whether it was good or bad, but your dumb ass wanted the negativity to shine every single time this man was on the field. It's embarrassing. It's stupid, and I always talk about you Cleveland fans, and you piss me off to the highest level of positivity. I don't respect it. I don't respect none of y'all. If you was a fan down in there and you was cheering and you was booing every time that he did it, keep that same energy, because DTR came in there with a horrible showing and nobody was booing or cheering when he was throwing the ball all on the sidelines, fumbling everything, hurting his little finger. The son of a bitch is 5'9", 178, and now you got to deal with him the rest of the damn season. So this is what you damn get, because this man put his heart and soul in it. Not to mention y'all hated this man for 4 freaking years on top of his regular life. All these chicks trying to sue this man and get some money just because he signed y'all favorite number contract, $230 million. It's freaking ridiculous. It pissed me off. It was so bad. My niece was here watching the game with me. She saw when he got hurt. She said, "Oh man, Uncle, you are mad. It looks like you need a hug." She's freaking 3 years old, and she saw my level of pissivity go through the roof. And that's because of you stupid Cleveland fans that always freaking talk about, I hate you. I hope nothing bad happens to you, and all the good things will never come to fruition because matter of fact, how about this? I'm going to show up to a random factory in Cleveland, and you tow motor workers, you guys that stand up on the tow motor, I hope you got to get a pallet off the 4th shelf, and you put the stand-up thing, you put the raise up, and you go to the 4th, and you think you on the 4th, and you got to get out the tow motor, take that step backwards, and you take a step out that tow motor and tear your Achilles. I'm going to just show up at your job and start cheering that your punk ass got hurt. It's the same damn thing. My man is at work doing his damn job where he get paid $230 million for your punk ass entertainment. I'm tired of this shit, man. Y'all are pissing me off. It's enough. I'm tired of it. And don't ever go to another Browns game until you repent to Jesus or God. The best that ever did it. I'm done with y'all, man. I'm sick of it. All 10,000 of you. I don't care. I'll put all of you in the same thing. And yes, Byron, you in the same thing because you was dogging my man. Every other time you had the opportunity.
I still dogging.
See,
I still dogging. I felt bad.
My man,
I felt bad. That was my disclosure.
No, don't feel bad.
Hulk Hogan.
The same energy.
Hey, Hulk Hogan, back off the mic, Hulkamaniac. Oh, let me tell you something, brother. Back off the mic. Let's listen to me able to hear what you're going to say. I stand by my criticism of Watson. I stand by the bad play. But no, I don't want to see a man hurt. I don't want to see a man on the bad cart drove out. I didn't want to see him crying and boo-hooing. No, I didn't want to see it. But I will correct you on one thing because DTR and Jameis, they both have been waiting for their shot. No, I'm not saying, before y'all twist my words, I'm not saying that they was about to hope the man get hurt because Jameis' speech was great. I even had to post that on my Instagram. Love his speech. It was great. But they came in with ideas on how to move the ball. The play after that, DTR threw a beautiful back shoulder throw to Tillman, turned around, got the
what do you do the rest of the game? What do you do the rest of the game?
No, he tried, but he tried too
Nothing.
hard. And that's where, like you say, you got pros and you got Joes, you got first string, second string. DTR is a second string. We got a team full of
Son of a bitch
second
is a
string
third
quarterbacks,
string.
in my opinion. He's a third string. But Jameis came in through a TD. They gonna work on it.
In
Now
garbage
we might
time.
see the ball go down the field. I stand on my criticism of Watson as the player, as the product on the field, but no, I didn't want to see the young brother get hurt.
It's ridiculous.
I didn't want to see him get hurt. No shape, form, and fashion.
Sorry,
That's what
Zen.
happened when they took away his massage powers,
See,
man. They
here
took
we
him
go.
away.
Here we go. Now
You
we
see what
back here.
happened?
Now we back here. Sorry, Zen. Take it away, Zen, before I go in too far. I can't come back. I had to get that off. Pause.
Man, our guest just like, yeah, the positivity. And then you go on this type of rant, man. What's going on? All that positivity, all that them flowers that was just thrown. You just took them, that bouquet, just chucked it out the window, man. You just, I'm done with it. All right.
Get it off your chest.
I can't take it.
But I do.
Mister, I stay cool during the games. I ain't gonna say nothing else, Mister. I never get wound up during the games. Because
that's all it takes, man. That's all it takes. Because I can sit here and tell you all the shit that I had to go through when I got injured and I had my surgeries, all the rehab I had to go through. I wasn't thinking about you punk ass fans. I was thinking about myself trying to come back on the field and do what I was put on this earth to do. You fans want to take it so personal and be like, oh, he's not doing good like we thought he was going to be doing good. He ain't playing for you. Let's just be real.
Well,
he ain't playing for you. No, he's not.
Actually, he is playing for the fans. Who rooting him on? Who buying the tickets? Who understands?
I don't care. For the fans. I don't care who rooting him on or not. He's still going to play his ass off because he worked his ass off to get there. Fans or not. I don't give a damn. It's for you, the player, the person, and the work. Put in the work.
We'll come back to that. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to that when Freeze ain't here.
Sorry, Freeze.
Because it's going to be a good one.
Exactly. We got this guest in the building. I want to incorporate this guest into this conversation. He just sitting back. We didn't have him. We didn't move our schedules and do all this just so he could be a spectator.
Right.
Come on. All right, let's involve him into this thing. So
I digress.
He does bring up a point. You are from Cincinnati. You're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, so I'm sure you was watching the game as well this Sunday, or unless your schedule didn't allow you to. Were you able to catch the game this Sunday?
Nah, I wasn't able to watch it, but I saw the stuff on social media afterwards. I saw the Jameis Winston speech, and it was pretty heartbreaking to hear about fans cheering over an injury. But it's the day and age we live in, man. Social media has desensitized us to a lot of things that are just basic humanity. And I think social media has given us this false sense of access, right? Evan mentioned Coach E mentioned how, players put in so much work and go through surgeries and pain and a grind to get to where they are. But in the old days, we couldn't see that. So it was a little bit more mystique around it, a little bit more prestige around it. But with everything being on social media and YouTube and you having the vaccine access and equal access and getting to see people's lives 24/7. And then too, with just, what we have access to information to today that we didn't have several years ago. People were just insensitive, man. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just calling it what it is. It's still heartbreaking. That's still, no class at all. Not coming down on Cleveland fans with me being from Cincinnati. I would say the same thing if folks from Cincinnati participated in that. And, no matter how you feel about somebody, to see somebody hurt, that's not the time or place to react in that way. So.
All right. My question to you, I hear what you're saying, but at some point as fans, we stop looking at athletes as humans. People lost the whole humanity when dealing with athletes. Is it the paychecks allow for fans to act this way when it comes to these types of things? What is it that you forget that that's an actual person that's out there on the field instead of more so looking at them like they're a stock. There's some cattle instead of being an actual person.
I think it's escapism, right? And I mean, even like me sitting in the office that I'm sitting in right now, you know, I'm in the world famous Disturbing the Peace Studios, home of Ludacris, you know, that birthed 2 Chainz and Chingy and a bunch of other names that I can throw out. But you know, working so closely with entertainers, you know, athletes are the same thing. You know, people that go to work, you know, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. They spend their hard earned money on a ticket to go see a football, basketball, baseball, a rap singer, you know, movie, whatever kind of performance. And it's that escapism, right? Where we look at these other human beings as our entertainment. We get to unwind and escape away from our real problems through these people's lives. And I think sometimes those lines get forgotten and those lines get disrespected a lot. And a lot of times you think, I forget who just said it, but I think it was Taboo. You said because they playing for the fans. Well, fans feel that way, I think, incorrectly because what the argument always is, well, I pay my hard-earned money on these tickets. It's like that may be true, but you spent your hard-earned money to come watch me do something I've been training for 20 years to do. That I've gone through surgeries, like you know, E just said, or I've gone through, you know, God knows what that a lot of these entertainers have gone through before they get to that point of being famous. And you know, the reality is that they're not superhuman, right? You know, they cry, they bleed, they have emotions, they have breakdowns just like we do, but we don't see that. We see people who work at really high levels in whatever their chosen profession is, and we think that because we spent a little bit of money, or and I'm not minimizing that because it could be a lot of money to us depending on how much money you have. But I'm saying in a grand scheme or in context, you spend a little money to get them to watch them perform for you know an hour or 2 hours, and then we want to get upset when we don't, as Coach E said, we don't see the product that we thought we were paying to see or that we hope to see. So you know, I wish there was a little bit more unblurring of those lines and a little bit more respect, because the flip side of, you know, like I said, because of the access to the information that we have and because we can see so much of their lives now and we get to see like, oh yeah, like somebody hurt their ankle just like I hurt my ankle, they can't walk for a couple weeks, or they're on crutches, or they're in rehab every day. A lot of the behind the scenes stuff that we get to see, or maybe we don't see. I know I'm a little biased because I see so much behind the scenes, you know, with superstars like Chris and like other folks, and just see, I see the humanity. I see them juggling, you know, family life with what their chosen profession is, and I see them struggling with all the other real world things that we struggle with as well. But they just get paid so much money because they do something that not everybody can do, and then the consumer, you know, consumers complain, right? If you go to Chick-fil-A and they mess your order up, you just spent $6, but you still gonna complain. And then you spend $300 on some tickets, and then something goes wrong. What you gonna do? Complain. So I mean, that's just human nature.
Now, can I add to that, Zen? Let me add something to that.
Go ahead.
Because from the fan perspective, again, I'm not E for you go Hulk Hogan mode. I'm not supporting the people who boo, but and I hear Ted again in my head telling me his story about when he went home at night, he got hurt, he couldn't pick up his kid, and his kid looking at him like, "Daddy, I'm ready to play," but because he done laid it on the line, he couldn't pick up his kid. So that was heartwarming. But from the fans' perspective, I know you saying that the athlete is playing for the owner or whoever, but imagine if the fan stopped going to the stadiums, stop buying the tickets, stop going to concessions, you know, stop buying the jersey, stop supporting. Then it becomes about the fan again, because if the fan stops supporting financially, then do the owners still make the investment? It don't really make sense because they making an investment to get the money from the fan. Or correct me if I'm wrong. They trying to get that money, that revenue.
So,
I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Coach.
no, you good. Freeze, you to guess. Go ahead, bro.
I mean, I was gonna say my only pushback is, think about a lawyer or a doctor, right? Like, if somebody
Mm-hmm.
you go to school a lot longer than the average person, and you have to take specialized tests, like, there's a lot you have to go through to reach whatever that heightened profession is. And yes, the money that you make in that profession might be more than other professions, but
Mm-hmm.
there's still this misperception, right, of what your abilities are, and then you still have to deal with the complaints and the disappointments and the frustrations that come along with your profession. So same thing with a
Mm-hmm.
professional athlete, right? So going with the example you just gave, if the fans stop buying tickets, if nobody's buying concessions and all of that, then that's telling me that as a society we're no longer placing value on that, right? So that
Right.
means that people won't be willing to train 10, 15 years of their life. They won't be willing to sacrifice how they eat or time with their kids or
Mm-hmm.
all the hours in the gym because they won't strive for that profession anymore because the value society places on it isn't there anymore. So it's all a balancing scale of what we put on that as society. Because think about it, as kids, I know I used to always hear, "Oh, be a doctor or a lawyer." You wouldn't hear be a teacher. You wouldn't hear be an engineer. There was, for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, the value society placed on those kind of professions that it's easy to say, but it's really hard for a lot of people to accomplish. And then that's why it kind of comes with some elitism, if you want to put it that way, or
Right.
prestige. Same thing with an entertainer or a professional athlete, because everybody's like, oh, yeah, be a star, go sing, or go dance, or go play a sport. But you know how hard it is to keep rising those different levels and make it to the
Of
top.
course.
And that's the
No
value we
doubt.
place on it.
But that's the value. But one more thing, yeah, I'll let about my fault. That's the value, but it come back to the fan. You see how you was like, if they take it away, then it's not as value. So that give power to once again the fan. And as far as complaints, we all still get complaints, even at our levels. You know what I mean? We get Zia get complaints. Where he work, I'm sure you get complaints. I get complaints. We get criticisms and complaints from people. It's just you're never gonna be 100% liked by everybody. My fault, E.
No, you good. So I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback off of what Freeze was saying. So let's take it a little bit deeper than what it really is, since we already deep. You can go to the doctor in the lawyer realm. Everybody talking about how much they pay for tickets, season tickets and stuff. I guarantee you pay more for a heart surgery. I guarantee you pay more for a murder trial. I guarantee you pay more for a kidney surgery or a kidney treatment or breast cancer, something like that. Well, so why is not the same energy going to that person who might be the worst doctor of all time in that field that you need to pay for, or might be the worst lawyer of all time that didn't back you up, and now you in jail for the rest of your life? Don't nobody give those people the same backlash or the same attitude that you will give these, I'm throwing up the rabbit fingers, athletes, because you done paid $150 for a ticket that you only gonna be there for a couple hours. That's leisure time. So we talking about real life situations that you are ignoring. Just like Free said, these are real people. They got real stuff going on, and you being the fan that you think you being and trying to be an ultra fan and trying to put this man down, that could be adding to his demise. Because just another example, you don't know where Deshaun Watson career is going right now. You don't know where his
Right.
mental is right now. This could be the worst time of his life, just because, like I always say on here, athletes are always praised from a little kid, like, oh man, you so good, oh man, you so great, oh, you doing everything great. And now he been hearing for the last 4 years, I'm just using this example because that's what we was on, he been hearing the last 4 years how horrible he is, how much of a bad person he is, how much bad decisions he been making, how horrible he been playing. Like I said, direct that same thing to your real life situations that really is life or death,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't do that. So why is that okay? And why is the other one not thought to be okay or not okay? Just a question that I'm asking from the peanut gallery.
I'll give you an answer. They do. Consider, like, I like how you said lawyers. I've seen it with lawyers. We all seen it with lawyers. Lawyer A come in, he charged 40%. Lawyer B is a 10% lawyer who tries to charge you 40%, but don't get the results that lawyer A gets. You're going to talk about, yo, I paid you all this money and you still sent me to jail. You still did this. You still didn't get me the money I wanted. You know what I mean? You're going to criticize lawyer B for trying to charge you lawyer A fee.
Okay, with that being said, are you going to cheer and boo whenever he lose that case? Or are you just going to chalk it up
No,
and
you're
not
going to
do
be
that?
pissed.
Yeah,
You're going to have that same energy.
No, you
I
don't.
paid you $230 million, lawyer B, and you thought you was lawyer A, but you ain't performed like lawyer A.
So walk your ass into the courtroom and cheer when he lose that case. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody might cheer.
All right. All right. Now, Freeze, you and E, y'all go back a mighty long ways, right? Y'all go back to Ohio University. The way he came out on this podcast, it just got me to thinking before we started the podcast. Have you ever seen Coach E ever act like he just acted at the beginning of this podcast?
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
First, I got to build my man up with praise, right? So, love Coach E to life, man. So I transferred to OU during my freshman year, which is, transferring nowadays is more common than it was back in 2002. But it was even more uncommon to transfer, in the middle of your freshman year. And I'm walking out of my dorm, James Hall, and he sees me, I see him, and he say, what up? Some other words that I'll leave off, but I think he really thought that I was somebody else. But anyway, he ended up becoming the first friend I made the first day I transferred there, and here we are, 22 years later, still really good friends. And he didn't know then. He was a friend when I needed a friend. There was a lot I went through growing up. My upbringing in Cincinnati and my family and a lot of trauma and things like that. Even the situation involving me transferring just with family stuff. But, he's always been a really dope friend. That being said, to answer your question, the best, one of the funniest stories, we were on a flag football team together. Maybe my sophomore or junior year. So he was either a junior or
sophomore. You was sophomore, I was a junior.
He was a junior.
Yeah.
And so I was a quarterback, and he was, he was our ace of spades. Like, he played everything. And I remember I threw him a deep post. And granted, the refs in this game, we played a team, they were all white. The refs were all white. And it was evident to us that, a lot of calls weren't going our way. It was a lot. We were fighting the team and the refs to win this game. And, some call didn't go his way. Man, Coach E lost it. I mean, he started snatching everybody's flags, throwing them. He picked up the pylon, started throwing them. He was like, ain't nobody playing. He took the ball, punted it across the field. I mean, yeah, like I was like, yeah, they gonna call the police on us, bro. Like,
hey, I'm sorry to jump in, Freeze. I do, since you told that story, I do remember taking 3 pylons and throwing them in the river. Said, if y'all ain't gonna call this right, ain't nobody playing the game ever again.
Ain't nobody playing. But looking back, now being 41 and being, early 20s, then is just, how when you experience like racism like that, like real overt and direct and in your face, a lot of times as young men, we didn't necessarily know how to navigate through that. But, now 20 some years later, we can look back on it and laugh.
Ooh, look at you, Freeze. Boy, you know how to throw some alley-oops, don't you? Experiencing racism, huh? Isn't that interesting? You've become an advocate for these types of things. I've check out your Instagram. You do little stories to try to educate people on certain things when it comes to police and how to handle your situations when going to the police. You've been an assistant district attorney. I've seen you do some. Well, I've heard. I haven't seen it, but I've heard how you've helped out when it comes to voting rights and different things like that. Helping out, giving people water, which they now banned in Georgia now, things of that nature. So, what made you decide to go into the field of law and lead you down those paths? And then, you know, I'm sure as you jumped into this field, you've experienced those things. And what made you want to become what's the word? Start good trouble, as my man John Lewis would like to say. What made you want to venture out into that field?
I mean, so going back to my childhood, which I kind of loosely mentioned a second ago, I grew up seeing my mom, get arrested a few times, and my grandmother, I got an uncle serving life, and just people from my neighborhood, my friends, my community, and I got in trouble myself. Kicked out of school in 11th grade. Mom loses custody of me, and the narrative that was tried to be placed on me and my friends back in those days was, "Are y'all gonna be dead or in jail before 21?" So I grew up not really thinking that I would be much other than the most successful people I saw were drug dealers, the dope boys. They were the ones who had the nice cars. To this day, like I don't wear Jordans. I only wear Air Max. Some custom Air Max ones right here. I wear these to court. Sometimes some people call me the Air Max lawyer, but the point is, but I got that way because I saw that as a kid, right, and it made an impression on me. But then the older you get, like you realize, okay, that pathway leads to one or two things: dead or jail that we know. Or there's this other pathway that most of us don't know about, and let me try it. And it was actually a black police officer, William Dean, Coach Dean, who spoke some positivity into me, and that's why I started trying to get into college. My grades were terrible. I got into one school, Central State, transferred to OU. So coming back more on point to your question, I didn't know that I wanted to be a lawyer. I would say by the grace of God, I ended up going to law school. My reasons initially were to, in addition to my undergrad degree, and I have a master's degree too, both in healthcare management. I thought that I would work in a hospital system and be a hospital CEO one day, and a law degree would help me advance. Little did I know that my last year of law school, I would get offered a job to go work in Atlanta City Council. And I didn't know anything about politics, didn't care about it. I think by that time, I'd only voted like twice, of course, for President Obama in 2008. And then whatever the presidential election before that was in 2004, I think it was Bush and Kerry, was the first time I was old enough to vote. And so working in city council, I hated it because I didn't understand it. It wasn't what I was kind of gearing myself up to do. It didn't work the way I thought government would work. It was really cutthroat and backstabbing and a fishbowl, and there was no unity. And so I figured out a way to stay myself in that environment and thrive and get stuff done. And then once I started writing legislation and seeing the impact that those laws had on people, and started to, understand more about it and see the power of what politics really did. Like this room that I'm sitting in, the room that you guys are sitting in, somebody zoned it to be whatever it is. Like I'm in a commercial building. If y'all are at home, somebody had to zone that to be residential. Well, the people who zoned it, they were voted in the office. And then just understanding that politics touches every aspect of our lives, that's when it's like a switch kind of went off. And then my gears started turning. And I'm like, okay, I always knew that if I made it out of, where I came from growing up in Cincinnati, I always wanted to use my gifts or my resources to come back to help more people who look like me and who are from places like where I'm from, because we're always overlooked, forgotten, skipped over, or just counted out. And I could keep talking more and more and more, but in a nutshell, that was kind of the catalyst, was taking that job in city council, knowing that I wanted to do more with my law degree, more than just myself, more than just making a bunch of money. I mean, I got a lot of lawyer friends who make several $1 million, who I'm really, really close with and who I learn a lot from. And, they're killing it, on the financial side. And I could be doing that too, right? Like I have the tools and the relationships and the wherewithal to do that. But I think, how Coach E said what he was put on this earth to do, I think what I discovered or what I believe God put me on this earth to do was to be a vessel and a mouthpiece and just a tool for people who are a voice for the voiceless, or a tool for people who don't have it, to stand up for things that I see are wrong. Because a lot of times it's kind of how we were talking about that escapism, or the lack of reality when we're talking about athletes. I think when it comes to folks in my profession, a lot of times there is a bougie elite class of people who don't have what I would call a good perception of life, and they kind of just go with the flow, or they go with what makes dough. And I bucked the system, and I'm not afraid to call I was right. And a lot of people in my profession didn't come from the background that I have. Like, I ain't afraid to lose it. I ain't afraid to get fired from something. I ain't afraid for nobody to be standing with me, because I've been at the very bottom before. And if I lose everything today, I'm confident I'll be able to climb back up.
All right, listeners, family, friends, this concludes part 1 of the Freeze Pod. We had so much fun. We talked for so long. We had to split this up into 2 episodes. So this right here concludes episode 1. We hope you keep the same energy and tune in for episode 2, coming right back at you soon. As always, see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to Game for All Seasons with Coach E. Remember to hit the like or subscribe button on Coach E's YouTube channel. To listen on the go, download wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure to follow Coach E on Instagram, X, and TikTok at BigF216. Contact us at www.perfecttimefitness.com for one-on-one or group training sessions. Our theme music provided by Mr. Taboo Timmons on SoundCloud at Mr. Taboo Timmons. Once again, thanks for listening, and see you next week.